Hey everybody, how are you? John Napolitano here with you. Do you guys struggle with trying to find ideas every single week, week after week, when the markets have not necessarily behaved the way you expected? This is not uncommon. Brand new traders, especially people who are new to the markets, tend to trade what is familiar with them. And that is usually a path for getting into a little bit of trouble here and there. In this particular video, what I want to focus on is how to find winning trades week after week in volatile markets, which is what we've been having lately. Post-election, we had a nice little bump, and then we had some sideways for a little while, and now we have the post-election rally, which is, expected historically, but oftentimes fades. So you might get more volatility going forward. So that's what this video is going to be all about. My name is John Napolitano, for those of you who don't know me. I've been a professional trader for about 27 years. I've worked both in large institutional trading as well as trading my own capital since 2016. For the last 6 years or so, I've also been educating the public on options trading, which is my specialty. So if you're interested in option trading, please like and subscribe. These videos will continue to keep coming. I will continue to create content with things that you guys are interested in. Please mention in the comments below anything specific that you guys want to discuss in new videos that I'll be making. I'll be happy to cover that stuff. Check out our website as well, Stock Trading Pros. All the information will be in the link below. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to show you from scratch how we look at the markets. And this is just a little taste of what we do in our community and what we do on a weekly basis. So the first thing we start with is the overall markets. We analyze the markets, we grade the markets, and we come up with an idea of what we think things look like based on what is showing, based on what the market is giving us, basically. We don't try to guess or wish or hope. We actually make an assessment. Once we make that assessment, we then go down to the individual sectors, which is what you see in front of you right now. So I'm going to skip the daily performance because I tend to swing trade options. I'm not a day trader. I tend to hold things for weeks or even months at a time. For those of you who are looking to generate extra income and still have a part-time job or a full-time job, this video is definitely for you. So what I'm going to essentially do is look at the weekly performance, and this will kind of tell me from week to month, actually, what's been outperforming. And you can see some similarities here. You have industrials in first and second place, and you have energy, which actually lost some ground this week. But that was a pretty strong monthly performance number here. So those are the two main areas where I think I might be looking for opportunity. Now, energy was up substantially for a month. It's up 10%. So it might be a little overdone. But what I'm going to do is I am going to go into Finviz. Again, Finviz is a free service. You can pay for the monthly subscription if you want. It's about $30. But for those of you who are brand new, and you're just kind of starting to learn how to use this platform, feel free to play around. It's a really cool tool. It's one of my favorite free tools that you can use to kind of get started. And basically, I'm in this all tab right here. I went basically, here's the home tab. I just went over to the word screener here. And basically, I have this big, broad selection process in front of me here. So these are all the possible things you can pick in order to screen for opportunities. So it's pretty cool stuff. It gives you lots of choices. We're not going to go through all these choices, obviously, in this video. I'm going to keep this kind of short and sweet, just for purposes of showing you guys a path on how to look for opportunity. So I already selected up here industrials, and you can see on the right-hand side here, you have 667 choices. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't feel like going through 667 choices. I'm sure you guys don't either. So I'm going to narrow this down for you the best way I can. I am going to pick something that is both optionable and shortable. Obviously, if you're trading options like I do and you want to maybe go in both directions, long and short, you want something that is liquid and that trades well. Those are the main things we're looking for here. You do not want to trade things that are hard to get in and hard to get out, especially if you're trading options, because usually things that are hard to get in and out will be even harder on the option side. So that is what I'm going to do. The next thing I'm going to do, along with the same theme that I just mentioned, is volume. I want something that trades pretty darn well. So I'm going to select over 1 million. Now, it is possible you overfilter. If you do overfilter and you only end up with like 5 choices, You can play around with these numbers a little bit. You can make the volume 750 or 500, but I'm going to start with 1 million shares a day. That is my minimum criteria. And as you can see, I already knocked down from 667. I am now down to 139 choices. Still kind of a lot of charts to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to whittle away here. Let's see. So price, I'm going to go up to $40 or above. I generally like to select multi-leg strategies, which we also teach in our community. It allows you to manage risk, and it allows you to profit from markets if they kind of go sideways to up, or if they're mildly bullish. And in this type of volatile environment, I generally do things called vertical spreads and stuff like that. You can learn all that stuff in our community, by the way, if you spend some more time with us. So basically, that gives us more choices. The next thing we're going to do is average true range. I want something that trades within a wide range. And the reason for that is because I obviously want to make money. So I don't want something that only moves about 10 cents a day. So I'm picking over 1 as average true range. For beta, it's kind of the same thing. Now, I want you to keep in mind the overall stock market has a beta equal to 1. That is the constant. When you're telling the computer here that you want a beta above 1, which is what I'm going to select here, I'm basically telling Finviz here that I want a stock that has higher volatility than the overall stock market. And as a trader, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a movement that has high volatility, that goes back and forth a lot, which could potentially add to our profits. Now, what we also want, now we're down to 48 choices, by the way, so I'm doing a pretty good job here at knocking everything down. The next thing I want to do is pick something that is in a trend that is moving in the direction I want. So if I'm looking to go long, I obviously want something that is in an uptrend already. As a trend following options trader, picking the right sector and the right criteria, I also want something that is trending higher. I don't want to counter trend trade and potentially buy something that's in a downtrend. That generally doesn't make any sense. So I am going to, for the most part, pick something here with a moving average above the 20-day moving average. That's what I want. I also want something that's been a long-term, that's been in a long-term uptrend. I want something above the 50-day moving average as well. So I think this pretty much does the trick. I am now down to 26 choices. And now, as you can see here, you have a nice handy list of 26 names. Now you could print this out. You could further sort by certain criteria that you might, particularly find helpful. But I think this is a pretty viable list. And to make things even more simple, I'm just going to click on this little box here in the middle where it says charts. And I am simply going to eyeball stuff that I like. Now, this is where your visual experience comes in a little bit. What I essentially want to do is find something that is in an uptrend that is potentially pulled back. And I already see some things that look pretty interesting. I see 2 things just on this first page, which I will share with you right now, that look pretty decent. ATI up here, you can see it's a little bit hard because I know you see a lot of charts. I'm going to make this bigger for you guys to see in a second. But what I like about this chart is that it broke its downtrend and it's in an early stage uptrend. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by kind of going in here and making this larger. Now, I don't know anything about this company, by the way, and that's the great thing about doing this every single week. You have to keep in mind that I have no bias right now whatsoever. The important thing you have to realize is you don't want bias. You want to pick things that are trending, that are fitting the criteria that you want, without necessarily having some sort of personal bias. Another mistake new traders make all the time. They basically have like a bias towards things. So you don't want to deal with that. You want to kind of filter and just do this as, mechanically as possible, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. So let's jump back into it here. You have here, as I mentioned here, you have higher lows here. I'm gonna make this even bigger so you guys can see, because all I really care about is the fact that it put in a nasty low around earnings season, and you have this low that actually a little bit of a capitulation low here because you have this heavy volume, and essentially you have this steady uptrend that it's been in pretty much since the beginning of the year, and it pulled back yesterday. Yesterday it had a pretty bad day, but it did pull back into the 50-day moving average. You have an upward sloping 20-day moving average and it's kind of a sideways 50 because it has been in a longer term downtrend. You can take the bet that this thing might continue to bounce off the 50-day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically select a target that kind of meets overhead resistance, which is right around here. That looks like around, it looks like around 62-ish, maybe 62-ish, something like that. So again, I'm not expecting miracles out of this trade. The markets have been volatile. As an options trader, this is an easy trade I could put together. I can buy the 60 call options. I can sell the 62 call options against that position, and I can see what happens in the weeks to follow. So when we put together trades, that is what I'm looking to do. Smart trades that make sense, that kind of fit what the overall market is giving me. I'm going to give you guys one more, and then I will cut you guys loose, and we'll talk a little bit more about our community. So you can see here, Boeing is another one. It had a recent, it's obviously been in the news over the last couple of years, had some horrible situations, but you can see here it's recovered since the middle of November, when obviously they had some headline news that was pretty negative. It's actually recovered all the way up to 180. It has substantial resistance up here at around 190. But you can see it broke its downtrend. So this is the kind of stuff that I personally like to put in my watch list. I like to find things that are in uptrends, that have room to run, that that are in a favorable sector that could potentially give it some extra momentum. And that is the key. It's all about institutional momentum. What you want to think about is how many people are buying this thing. That's really what causes a stock to go up or a stock to go down, right? And when I mean people, I mean institutions. Institutional volume makes up about 90% of the volume on most exchanges. So if I see that there seems to be interest at the bottom here and institutions are piling in, meaning that they're breaking down trends, they're consistently buying, that means I'm going to jump on that train. And that's essentially what I'm doing here, with Boeing. So these are two examples where what we do is we build a watch list every week. We look for viable entry points, and we put together the best option strategy for the given volatility environment that we're in. In a low volatility environment, certain option strategies are appropriate. In a higher volatility environment, other option strategies are more appropriate. So that is what we teach in our community. We have a Discord channel where we go back and forth and share ideas. I also offer coaching on a weekly basis. We have Saturday game plan meetings alongside with my partner Pete, who does the stock trading portion of our community. And we have discussions on how to put together trades every single week and how to put together our strategy. So if this is something you're interested in, obviously like and subscribe to this channel. We'll continue making content, like I said. We'll continue adding things based on your comments, what type of things you want to see. And essentially what we're going to do is build a community from within where we can bounce ideas off of each other and potentially profit. That is pretty much what we're looking to do. So I hope you found this video helpful. Like and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more stuff, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care.